something remarkable is happening in Beijing that most people aren't paying attention to. From October 20th through the 23rd, the President Xi Jinping and over 370 senior Communist Party members are meeting behind closed doors to finalize some of China's economic blueprints for the next 5 years. Now they're calling it the 15th Five-Year Plan, and it will be a guide to the world's second largest economy through 2030. Now, I know what you're thinking here, that this really doesn't pertain to you a whole lot. But here's the thing, that this is going to have some significant impacts that could be even bigger and more broadly followed with your portfolio than anything that's happening in Washington. Now, here's why. China isn't just the economy. It's been a growth engine that has powered some of the global markets for a couple decades now. But things are changing. And China's economic model, the ones that they've been working on for the past 30 years, are starting to show some cracks. And that is really what this comes down to. You see, they've been spending about 41% of the entire economy on what we call capital expenditures. So buildings, factories, infrastructure, electric vehicle plants. But there's a big problem right now. And all of this building, all of this capacity that they're really ramping up, they can't use. And so things like the EV industry, they're making incredible products. They're making actually world-class electrical vehicles, but they have no pricing power. And their margins are below zero. So essentially, they're losing money on every car that they make. And that's not a sustainable business model. But here's where it gets complicated, because there are reports of significant losses from all of these belts and roads initiatives that they've been doing. And we're talking trillions of dollars, and it's not coming back into the economy and not coming back to them. So here's what happens. This creates pressure, and it's real pressure from the powerful interests inside China. You see, we're layering here between the inside China and some of the external squeezes and the US tariffs that we've been put into place from 10% to 50% across the board are just targeting a few companies right now. But they're designed to stress the entire Chinese system. And what's going on is that China can handle a few of these and fix a few firms, but they can't fix the entire economy. And when it continues to be under pressure, that is when things really start to go bad. So what does this all mean? Well, it really comes down to the fact that we're at an inflection point. And here's why it's worth watching really closely right now. Because there's an actual real possibility, and what I've heard and some of the things that we're discussing is that it could be greater than 50% that there's going to be a leadership change in China. And if that's the case, that there's a leadership change, and this could actually be that Xi is going to be removed from power, or maybe he steps down, or maybe that his power is materially concentrated. So it's just in very, very certain areas and really is constrained. Well, that would be actually a different reflection to the world and would represent a complete change in how China operates. And since these are my views, obviously we don't know yet, but this is something that's very interesting. And these changes that we could start seeing could actually help China pivot back towards a pro-growth, pro-wealth creation model. And this is where Shanghai would really start to provide more influence. And they would actually start to get back to that command economy style that they've been in. And that's where they could actually come back to the US and start negotiating a little bit more. Now, I wanted to bring this back to you and to your portfolio because here's why this matters. You see, we're right now talking about the tariffs. We're talking about all these different elements. But we are seeing, even in spite of tariffs, even in spite of all this talk, that corporate profits here in America are increasing. And if China undergoes this kind of transformation, we could actually really see an acceleration in the US markets, and potentially faster than most people are expecting. So that's where things right now could be misallocated. And in China, if we start to see some of these flows starting to happen and money coming back in and trade starting to pick back up, we could see supply chains start to stabilize. We could start to see companies face less pressure. Well, that is really an incredible environment that we could be positioned for to thrive. So here's what I want you to do. Obviously, as you have questions, feel free to reach out because I would love to talk with you and help to distinguish what's going on with the markets more and why this may be a great development. And we're going to continue to keep monitoring all of these headlines for you. But as you want to stay more informed, we're going to continually create more videos like this. So go on to YouTube and you can actually subscribe and like these videos. First of all, for your own right, and then secondly, this helps others find this as well so that they can be up to date on what matters most to them as well. So there's many things that are going on right now and many things worth watching. And that is a trend that I want you to remember, that there are some major elements happening right now. There are some risks, but there are some opportunities. And my job is to help navigate both. So take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.